What's going on there, guys? We back with another one, and today we got to talk about Errol Spence a little bit more. Now, first of all, there's been these comments going around that Errol Spence should consider retiring after losing to Terrence Bud Crawford, and I'll tell you why that's ridiculous very soon. But we're going to look at some of these comments from two prominent Dallas Cowboys figures, and you know where Errol Spence is from, right? So, he got a group of people behind him, from that area. And ESPN ringside, they quoted Stephen A. Smith, and it says Stephen A. Smith believes Spence Crawford should be Earl's last fight. And when Micah Parsons got wind of that, he responded, he said, "I won't stand for no Errol Spence bashing. Every player has its day. When he shake back, I don't want to hear ish from nobody. Man said, run it back. Y'all bash Garcia for showing no heart. Now when a man shows more heart despite losing, he should retire. Never #big fish." So Michael Parsons really wasn't feeling it, and I saw this comment after Dez Bryant retweeted it. Now, this is exactly what Stephen A. Smith said.
We know it was a beatdown. It was a beatdown of very, very alarming proportions. Terrence Crawford was absolutely spectacular. Errol Spence got destroyed. I mean, it was one of those situations your soul was taken from you. And I don't say that with any pleasure. I did not see this coming. I did not see that it would be like this. It was that bad. It really, really, really was. I just don't know what to say. Did you know that 3 months after that incident that nearly killed him, that Errol Spence Jr. was in another car accident? I didn't even bring up his leg injury from the car accident either. And then you get into the ring against Terrence Crawford, and you're subjected to that kind of beating. That's why Stephen A. Smith is talking about potential retirement.
When Dez Bryant seen what Stephen A. Smith had to say, this is what he responded. He said, "I know you are doing a job and you're the best at what you do, but this is extremely unacceptable to say. He's had prior fights and dominated after all his personal battles. The better man won that night, as simple as that. Depression, real anxiety is real. Let's pause and think about that for a sec. I would have suggest you sit down with Earl and get an exclusive about his future plans instead of taking this route. Errol Spence is a man of class. Let's treat him as such." And what I will say to this is, this Mayweather culture and the way that people consume boxing is extremely ridiculous. Everybody thinks the best boxers have to have a 0 at the end of their record. And I don't know what these new school fans that are enamored by Mike Tyson's videos that they see, or Sugar Ray Leonard, or the best fighters of all time, Muhammad Ali. I don't know what they think these people's records were. Now, obviously Muhammad's was under some different circumstances, some of his losses, but I don't know if these people think all these legendary figures went undefeated or not, but you learn a lot about a boxer in battle. And Spence knew by the 3rd or 4th round that Bud was the better man. Got knocked down multiple times, got up each time, and continued to stand in there and fight. His face was bloodied and bruised, and he was still throwing. He was willing to die in that ring. And that's the heart of a champion. You know what I'm saying? He was going to put it all out there. And you know what type of pressure it has to be to get up and know you're going to get knocked back down, or know you're going to get outclassed in boxing that night, and keep throwing what you got. You see somebody take a hit, one of your best hits, and they just standing there like you didn't hit them. He was still going to the body. The better man just won that night. You heard Errol Spence say it. He's not taking it away from him, and he wants a rematch. Now, would you rather him just retire and not be true to the fighter he's been his whole career? If he was going to retire, how about that car crash and the recovery from that? That would have been the time maybe, where he could retire. But after losing a boxing match, if he didn't retire after a near fatal car crash, why would he retire after losing, a bout to pound for pound the best boxer in all of boxing? See, that don't make no sense. Stephen A. Smith, did you retire when you were fired from ESPN? When your show didn't work? Or did you stay at sports journalism, and when Skip Bayless offered you that opportunity to come on First Take, you took it, reinvented yourself, and went to the next level? See, you can't be mad at Errol Spence for taking another fight with Terrence Bud Crawford, taking his rematch, clause and using it, and you worked all your life to get to this point. Now, what if he miraculously goes in there and wins everything back? What is people going to have to say then? Or if he go in there and take him 12 rounds and, Bud barely beats him, but the fight is much better next time. Would it be ridiculous? It's about learning what you can, going back to the drawing board, executing a new game plan. See, everybody has something you can exploit. Terrence Bud Crawford, the margin for error with him is very slim. But if you're a fighter of Errol Spence's ilk, then I think if you have a rematch clause, you have to take it. You done got to the top, and you hold those cards. For one, I think Errol Spence left himself too open, took too many risks for power punches, and he left himself exposed a few times that he could better manage. He's an aggressive fighter in the beginning, but you can't leave yourself so open with Bud Crawford. That's one thing he could change, and that could change the dynamics of a fight. You take enough power shots early, he threw some punches. I was like, man, he's a second slow, and after he had been tagged a few times, and I was like, he's seeing two out there is what it looked like, to me, after he got tagged a few times. And I think some of that was just his overzealousness, over aggressiveness, came back to bite him, is what I feel like. I didn't look at him and say he was any less of a fighter. Fights can go that way. Them all-time boxers, a lot of them have losses. A lot of them we consider the very best at what they do. They have losses. So one loss, the thing is, can he make Bud Crawford join him in the one-loss club? Because you better believe if he comes back and beats him with that rematch clause, he jumps back up there to pound for pound, number one. So I think these statements are just shock jock statements from Stephen A. Smith, man, and you got to understand boxing better than that. Just because we live in the era of clowning someone just because they lost for the first time doesn't mean that what is being said about these people is legit. But I want to know what you guys think in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, peace.